If there's one thing I learned this semester, it's that there are countless forms of media and countless numbers of ways to interpret text. Literature can be transformed in a wide variety of ways, and each way involves some creativity. As researcher Michael Reen puts it, everything a person does that results in a product is creating, and the product itself a creation, the person a creator. Though creating videos and writing essays about poetry may not seem like such a hugely creative endeavor, it requires the ability to interpret literature and transform it into something that is original and new, and yet retains the important elements of the primary work. Essay writing is a more creative process than it would seem to be. For our poetry essay for this class, we each had to work through a very open prompt to select both a poem and a lens through which to view it. Each of us brought something different to this assignment. For my essay, I chose to analyze The Rabbit Catcher by Sylvia Plath. I thought it would be interesting to look at it alongside Ted Hughes' own poem, which is also titled The Rabbit Catcher, which he wrote in response a few decades later. Putting the poems together like this created a poetic conversation between the two and enabled me to better understand Plath's original work. Psychologist Mark A. Runco claims that originality is necessary for creativity, but it is not sufficient. Flexibility is an important part of it. I discovered that when choosing an angle from which to write my paper. I didn't really know what I wanted to do and changed my approach several times over the course of my revisions. It was pretty frustrating. I ended up writing about drawing conclusions about real life from confessional poetry and how that can be harmful to the poets themselves. I felt that this was appropriate to such a personal poem of Plath's, especially when juxtaposed with the response from her husband, Ted Hughes. Writing the essay was certainly a creative endeavor and did require me to be flexible, but completing my e-poetry video was a little more freeing. I elected not to do mine on the rabbit catcher, but to instead go with something a little more lighthearted. I wanted to choose a poem involving nature so I could use visuals of nature, so I chose a Mary Oliver poem titled Where Does the Dance Begin and Where Does It End? I enjoyed the way this poem compared nature to a dance, and I tried to convey that through the clips I chose. As someone who loves creating visual art, making my e-poem was a very rewarding and even relaxing process. As stressful as writing can be, I find that it is rewarding as well, and involves just as much creativity as visual art. Though it is a different kind of creativity that requires a different approach, it involves the same type of originality, flexibility, and dedication to producing a product. This class has taught me that creativity can be brought into any project of any sort, no matter what form of media. Creativity is something we can channel in almost every aspect of our lives, from singing to creating art to how we dress ourselves. There are so many ways to explore creativity, and everyone has a creative vision that is uniquely his or her own.